Ladies and gentlemen in Radio Land, you have now just entered 4th Street. My name is Kobe.
I'm Charles, not Charlie.
I'm Charlie, not Charles.
Don't mix us up.
And Smooth Aust.
And we are the 4th Street Sportsmen, and this is the 4th Street Sports Show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back. You have now entered 4th Street, and this is the 4th Street Sports Show. I am your host, Kobe.
I'm Charles, not Charlie.
I'm Charlie, not Charles.
Don't mix us up.
And before we got to get to it, he's finally back off his long hiatus. It's been a couple weeks since he's been gone.
A couple.
He's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, introduce yourself.
Smooth Aust.
Welcome back to the show.
Basic.
Wow, okay.
I'm glad to be back.
No moving speech.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, we missed you.
Man.
We missed
you, bro.
I definitely miss you guys too.
You better prepare your eagle screech.
Oh yeah.
Definitely prepare that for the end.
That's why I had the mango dragon fruit star. I forgot the name of it. Mango dragon with the lemonade refresher. Yes. Had to get my throat ready for this grand finale later on tonight.
Well, welcome back. We are the 4th Street Sportsmen. This is the 4th Street Sports Show, like I said. And, of course, we have a jam-packed show for you guys today. Of course, we have our Eagle Eye recapping everything that happened this past week and weekend in sports for Southern Miss. We have a special guest heading through 4th Street today, and we will be talking to him later. Also, we have our debate section, which we will be talking baseball. Right?
Yes, we're going to talk about baseball. It's
Some
been
big news happening this
Historic
week.
news.
And, of course, as always, we will be giving our flowers to all our Southern Miss athletes, whether current or former, who received honors during the week. But now, we're going to start off with our Eagle Eye. And, of course, we got to start off with baseball. It's a good time to be a Golden Eagles baseball fan, right, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Southern Miss is ranked their highest ever nationally at number 6 in the D1 baseball poll, 7 in the Baseball America poll, and even at number 5 in the Perfect Game poll. The team's previous high was in 2009 after Southern Miss made the College World Series. It's their first top 10 appearance in the D1 baseball poll since 2017. Their ranking comes after a series sweep against Florida International University in Miami, and they are now at a 9-game winning streak. Right now, the Golden Eagles look to continue their win streak against the Green Wave in New Orleans, the Green Wave of Tulane in New Orleans at 6:30. Southern Miss defeated Tulane 7-2 back in March here in Hattiesburg, so this is the rematch here, and it's going to be taking place in New Orleans, and we will keep you updated on everything that's going on. And then tomorrow, they will come back tomorrow to start their 4-game home streak. Well, home. You know what I mean to say. They'll be playing 4 games
We
at
know
home.
what you mean, Kobe.
So they'll be back home to play UNO, the University of New Orleans, who they also beat on March 23rd in New Orleans earlier in the season. So definitely pack out the Pete for these upcoming games, and we will keep you updated on the Southern Miss Tulane game. Charlie, moving on to the softball diamond.
Yes, we can continue with the good news, right? Guess who else is on a winning streak? That would be your Golden Eagles of softball. On the other side of the diamond, they've won 4 straight and have only lost 1 game in their last 9. They swept UTEP at home, who before the weekend we were talking about they had a 1-11 away record, now 1-14, but the Golden Eagles did a great job. Morgan Linestock was really the star of this series. She threw a no-hitter in 5 innings and earned another win in the second game because that game was actually ended early. She threw a complete game the next day, which is insane, and she fanned 5 batters. And spoiler, she won the 4th Street Player of the Week finally, so congrats to her. She's 17-6 on the season, which is 3rd in the conference. She has the 3rd highest ERA and the 2nd most strikeouts with 138. She also has the most innings played in the conference, so she's been the go-to girl for Southern Miss. So congrats to her. Also, other players with big weekends were Hannah Borden and Maria Smith. They both in the second game hit a pair of home runs, and Alexis Dittmer hit a 3-run shot in the final game that helped push the Golden Eagles past UTEP for to win 5-2. So again, rocky start to conference play. They were 1-8, but now have picked up and they're traveling to San Antonio to face Roadrunners this weekend. UTSA is 14-23 on the season, but they do have an above 500 record on the road. They're actually better on the road right now than they are at home. So we'll see how that goes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
And on the beach volleyball side, Beach dropped 3 of 4 matches in the Arizona Invitational. They played against 2 ranked opponents in Arizona, including the highest ranked of the bunch, Long Beach State. They are ranked 11th in the country, and their only win of the weekend came in a 3-2 match against Cal State Bakersfield, who were only 2 votes away from being ranked in the AVCA Beach Volleyball Coaches Poll. They were ranked 20th earlier this season. The Golden Eagles will play 2 matches at Tulane this Saturday to conclude the season before moving on to the first ever CUSA Beach Volleyball Championship, which will be held in Huntsville, Alabama, April 28th through April 30th.
And it'll be the only time they'll ever compete in it, too.
I mean, unless we have to stay affiliate members.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sunbelt
We'll see. It's
does
not
have
decided.
beach, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
Just
decided.
remember that.
Yeah. That is something interesting. I'll take it from you, Charles, and talk about tennis. Men's tennis fell 4-3 also to New Orleans. I guess we're on a UNO playing streak, I guess.
Still doesn't beat South Alabama, I guess. Yeah.
Nah, it
Got the
doesn't.
close
At
proximity.
least we're winning.
The close proximity rivals, I guess, but not too much of rivals because I think we beat New Orleans
Yeah.
a pretty great deal. But men's tennis fell to New Orleans 4-3 in the regular season finale on Monday. The team celebrated their grad student, Drew Sooners, as he won a game in his last home match as a Golden Eagle. Southern Miss finishes the season 9-9 and 0-3 in conference play. They now head to Virginia to compete in the CUSA championships from this Friday through Sunday. Women's tennis is balling. Charles, I know you're a happy camper.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
Definitely.
Charles's area of
This is
expertise.
This is my area of expertise because I happened to do a lot of coverage last year for him.
Yeah, so women's tennis is definitely doing it, Charles. He's definitely an advocate for women's tennis being nationally ranked. They are currently 13-4 and will begin their Conference USA Championships this Thursday in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So good luck to all those Golden Eagles competing out there this weekend. And
Don't
Charles
disappoint
is definitely
Charles.
watching. So
Yeah, don't disappoint
your
me.
P's and
I'm gonna be
Q's.
personally watching.
yeah.
Top critic.
Moving on from the tennis court into the golf course. Also competing in the CUSA Championships are Southern Miss women's golf team, who started their 3-day event in Palmdale, Florida, Monday. They remain in 5th after 2 rounds. Murchie Cabacho is in 5th place, and Momoka Ando is tied at 14th. The Golden Eagles will start the final round 12 shots behind the leader and 2 shots behind FIU in the 4th. They start at 7:50 tomorrow morning.
Good luck.
Wow.
I'll be in bed.
I definitely will be in bed. The men will travel to Texarkana, Arkansas, to play in the CUSA Championships next Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, and on to track and field. Every week I see it seems like there's just personal records being shattered. I don't know. I feel like this might be a record
This
season.
is a fantastic
Yeah.
season for track and field.
So they first competed this week at the Mount Sac Relays in Walnut, California, a historic event. And senior Sandra Spott really continued what's been an excellent season for her. She finished second in the 1,500 meter with another PR, which she set earlier this season. And the big finish there was Olivia Wozniak's school record in the 5,000 meter, which he also set in the indoor season. So she now owns the record for both indoor and outdoor. At the War Eagle Invitational, Fred Modani showed out again by breaking his school record in the shot put and also became the only CUSA athlete to throw over 60 feet this season so far. So again, we've had the big players been showing up every week consistently. And talking about big players, Corvell Todd, of course, finished second in the high jump. And there were just plenty of PRs, like I said, including some from Kania Seals, Trinity Flagler, Sarah Parnell, and Carlin Beal. Carlin Beal shaved 13 seconds off of her best record, and that's insane, in the
That's
5,000
impressive.
meters. So, yeah, congrats to all the student athletes who competed this week and shattered their PRs.
So shout out to everybody that competed this past week and past weekend, and we hope to keep everything going as well. Yeah, right now, Southern Miss and Tulane still haven't kicked off yet, but we will give y'all updates.
Kickoff.
6:30.
This isn't
6:30.
football.
You know
We
what
had
I
tip
meant.
off.
No, I don't
First
know what
pitch.
you meant.
First
At least
pitch.
I ain't say tipped off.
Yeah.
At least I ain't say tipped off. But we will definitely give y'all updates on that throughout the show as well. But that has been our Eagle Eyes, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back from break, we have a special guest heading through 4th Street today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very exciting, bro.
Mhm.
We have a former collegiate and professional mascot coming through.
He's also other things, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Don't forget.
that's the most
Yeah,
exciting
I know,
part.
but that's very exciting though, because
Yes.
guess what? Like I see mascots all the time, and I be thinking about, I'm like, I wonder if they always hot in them uniforms every time. Especially like if you play in like Los Angeles or San Diego
It's just
or
the
something.
summertime.
Or like
Arizona.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
So
Arizona must be the
Mississippi, too.
worst.
The Saints mascot lucky they play in the dome, so
Yeah,
it's even.
control
But-
air.
But he is also the host of the To the Top Talk podcast as well, Mr. Jamie Arrington. He will be stopping through 4th Street once we come back from break. This is the 4th Street Sports Show, and this is Southern Miss Radio. And we are back. This is the 4th Street Sports Show. Again, Kobe, Charlie, Charles, and Smooth Aust. We are back. And we have a special guest today that heading through 4th Street. He is, again, we said he's a former collegiate and professional mascot, but also, most importantly, he is the host of the To the Top Talk podcast, Mr. Jamie Arrington. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey yo. No, doing great. Thank you. This is really cool. Really great setup you got here.
Thank you. Welcome to the 4th Street. Coming through 4th Street. We know you're a man of many talents, but we want to focus on a side people might not hear about, or maybe they do, but obviously your mascotting career, because I think there's just a lot of story behind the people behind the mascots, behind the suits that we might not be able to hear all the time.
Just thinking about it, I can smell the Febreze. Like,
How many times did you have to clean that suit?
oh man, it was brutal. Like, and back when I was here, Seymour, it's like that's my Seymour is on the cover of this book, and Seymour had like, we called it guts, but it was almost like a big canvas diaper type of thing to kind of make him, and that thing, like, we could have done tests on like what kind of organisms grew because it was pretty brutal. But yeah, after a while, I mean, plus being in college, like as college kids, we were like, when I moved on, I took cleaning more seriously. But we're in college, it was like, clean it best we can. But Febreze was mascot cologne, so to speak.
We gotta get you a sponsorship then.
Yeah.
Just for a little context, for our listeners, how did you first get into mascotting?
You know, it's something I saw and I wanted to do, and I was at Jones Junior College, and I was friends with some of the cheerleaders, and they were having tryouts, and I mean, I was a big sports fan. I was just kind of like, let's give it a shot. So I gave it a shot. I loved it, and I grew up a Southern Miss fan. Like, I'm a 3rd generation Golden Eagle. So next step after Jones was Southern Miss. And I had met some different collegiate mascots who were doing well, and I had kind of considered, okay, do I want to go somewhere that has and Southern Miss has a really solid mascot tradition, don't get me wrong, but UCA has mascot nationals, so I considered, okay, do I want to go some of these other places? I was like, no, I really want to fortify the tradition at Southern Miss. So that's how I ended up here.
Wait, did you just say that UCA has mascot nationals?
UCA has mascot nationals.
Wow, because I'm
Seymour finished. So we qualified. We finished 10th in 2001 and 7th in 2002, which was really awesome. It was the first time we had competed there. And another cool thing, which they don't have anymore, we got to be a part of, was Capital One had an All-America mascot team. We were on the first All-America mascot team. So they took 12 of the country's best mascots, Capital One did, brought us to Atlanta. Kenny Mayne and Trey Wingo were doing the commercial, and they gave us like several $100s per diem and just turned us loose in Buckhead, Georgia. And it was quite bananas, but yeah, it was a great time.
They should definitely bring that back.
Yeah, they should.
They
They should.
definitely
I'll
should.
come back. I'll come out of retirement.
So you kind of just stepped into mascot, and how did you find that you actually liked it? Like, how did it stick with you?
I always like getting to do things like you'd want to do as a fan. like when your guy runs out the end zone, scores a touchdown, high five at him. I mean, like you'd love to do that. So just like enjoying it as an amped up fan. I also loved being the bad guy. Like I loved taunting the opposition. You know, I got in trouble for doing throat slash. I'll throat slash. Yeah, I love it. I love just egging them on. I love being the bad guy. So those are the two motivating factors: being a big fan and being the bad guy. I really enjoy it.
Could you just talk about kind of, sort of speak that charisma, like developing that, how, did it just come natural to you just to develop that charisma to just be a fan and just enjoy the game while also being the entertainment for fans?
Yeah, it kind of did come naturally. It did, and there's a bit of freedom that comes from being in the costume. I mean, if I had gone out there and done some of the things that I did in costume, let's be honest, I could have got arrested. So it does give you some freedom being in there, and you get to amplify that. And hey, when I was here at Southern Miss, I mean, we were Conference USA champs. I mean, we were bowling every year. We were, you had guys that, a larger list of guys that went in the NFL. So it was really a great time to be here and be involved in the program.
And there's like a legacy with Seymour. Obviously, like people don't know who he is, and then you kind of see him on graduation day. What was it like, being the center of attention, but nobody really knowing that it was you?
It's weird. Like, it's weird being able to walk out. Like, it's weird to be able to go to do like an appearance or something, and take all these pictures, and sometimes sign autographs depending on the role. And then go change and walk back out and nobody look in your direction. It is a weird dynamic, but it's fun. I enjoyed it.
And obviously, your career here led you to a professional career. Was that something you really saw coming? It was something that you really just wanted to continue, or how did that kind of progress?
Yeah, that's a great question. Initially, it wasn't something that I intended to happen, but as I got to the end of my tenure here, I was like, you know what? That sounds like fun. So it's something that I kind of, when I get into my senior year, my first senior year here, I decided that it's something I wanted to pursue. So,
could you just talk about going professional? Was it kind of like, just talk about like mascot tryouts, sort of to speak?
Oh man, so
and just being selected to be the guy, to be the mascot.
Yeah, so this was with a National Football League team in Illinois. You can do the math and figure that out. But they were going to do a reality show. And because some of the people trying out were with teams, they didn't want the teams finding out they were there. So that got scrapped, but ESPN was on it. But it was really cool. I mean, went up there, went through the interview process. But I will say this, like after I had my interview, I had a tryout, I had a skit I put together. Part of the skit had to do with the Super Bowl Shuffle. I kind of integrated that into it.
Yeah.
And I got done with my interview and my tryout, and I was like, man, it's like I just blew it. I was like, And come to find out, like, this is the thing for people that are still in college or people going out to their first job, like, it means a lot to be prepared. And I think I was the only person who was fully prepared for that interview and for that tryout, and I got the job.
Wow.
And to me, it was a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I'm going to put a skit together. I'm going to put a good skit together.
Yeah.
I'm going to interview. I'm going to have my answers ready when I go in for these interviews. And I was prepared. That's the only reason I got it. Was just being prepared.
Wow.
And what was your experience like with the Illinois football team?
I'll tell you, this was I'll tell you this. This is one of my favorite stories. This is outside of the costume, but it is entertaining. So, we had training camp in Bourbonnais, Illinois, and every night everybody went out. It's just like what they did. Players went out. Usually went to the same bar. And one night, Brian Urlacher, I was kind of like hanging around where he was, and he decides he wants to go to a different bar. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna follow where he's going. I'm gonna just see where this goes. So we go to this other bar. And everybody in there, it's like they knew he was coming. They had footballs, they had pictures. He sat there, signed every autograph, took every picture, had a drink, just as chill as he could be. And I was like amazed. I was like, man, every eye's on this guy. Nothing's phasing him. So we're sitting there talking, and we're at a table. It's Brian, it's Olin Kreutz, the intern, a guy named Mark, and myself. And Mark looks at me and goes, hey, that new Freddie and Jason movie's coming out. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, man, Freddie's going to destroy Jason. Man, it's not even gonna be close. And Brian hears this. He stands up and he slams his fist on the table. He's like, Jason's way better than Freddy. You can't kill Jason. I'm like, oh my God. Then he sits down, cool the rest of the night. But that is what set him off. Not the autographs, not the pictures, Freddy and Jason. So the second game in Chicago, so I caught some flack because they'd never had a mascot before. They're one of these blue blood traditions, and they were like, some of the fans were like, we don't need a mascot or whatever. And we'd been on a losing streak. Like, we lost our first 3 or 4 games that season. I think our first 3 games. And we played the Raiders. This was after the Raiders had come off their AFC Championship game. And we won the game. So the email inbox went from hate mail to fan mail overnight just by the presence. So that was really entertaining to me. It was just like, I tried to hype it up, as we're making the comeback, we're kicking the field goal to win the game. And the hate mail turned to fan mail overnight just from that one win.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that seems like a pretty good memory, but do you have any other, one memory that might stand out to you as the pinnacle of mascot career?
I have a moment that stands out as, well, I'll just tell you. So, first game, New Soldier Field, Green Bay Packers, Monday Night Football, Brett Favre, So, I run out, and the plan was, I was going to run out, and my intern was going to run out slowly behind me in Packer gear. I was going to rough him up. I was going to rip his cheese head in half. I was going to throw it in the crowd. All right? So, the problem was, we forgot to tell security. So I'm running out. I'm probably like the 30, 40-yard line. I turn around, and my intern is getting, elbowed in the throat. He was swarmed by security. They drug him off. So I'm running after him, taunting him, yeah, get him. We get back. We let him off the hook. Front page the next day of the Chicago Sun-Times. First fan arrested at New Soldier Field. That's one of those things, if it can't go wrong, it will. So it's just,
So he actually got charged with that,
They
he got off.
They just saw him getting taken off.
Oh, wow.
Some idiot fan got arrested.
And you were there cheering him on.
Oh yeah,
Did he forgive you for that?
Huh?
Did he forgive you for that?
Yeah.
People love mascots maybe a little too much sometimes, but do you have any instance of something weird or just over the line that somebody said or did to you?
I was in Philadelphia for a mascot football game, and I haven't been called that many things as I've been called by the Eagles fans. But one of the funniest, now this wasn't me, but you talk about things that are out of line. Sometimes kids get out of line. They'll come up and try to hit you between the legs with the old, So one of the guys that I was seeing more with, John just had this air about he just doesn't care. And this kid at one of these events just kept harassing him. So John reaches, this is a Southern Miss preseason football kickoff event. John reaches in a trash can, grabs a plate of barbecue, and just rears back and whack, and smacked this kid across the face. And he had barbecue sauce down. He's crying. His parents are laughing at him we told you not to mess with him. But yeah, sometimes people just do step over the line. But that was one of the funniest. Just that kid's expression.
I bet he never touched a mascot ever in his
He
life
probably
again.
didn't. He probably didn't. He probably still smells the barbecue.
Probably developed a fear of them too.
Probably did. Yeah.
So from an insider, just reflecting on your time as mascot, what is the life like? A routine day or just overall the life of a mascot, being a mascot?
You're probably single. That's. I'm kidding. On school is different. But as a professional, you have something to do every day. You're out doing appearances in schools. You're doing charity appearances. You're doing sponsorship appearances. So there is something to do pretty much every day. It's not just you just show up on Sunday and that's it. It's there's something going on every day. So maintenance of the costume is huge. If you're trying to get props or anything else, trying to set up skits if you have anything like that going on. But it literally is a full-time job when you get to that point.
Yeah, that just brought up in my mind. Did you ever have to tell somebody on a first date when they ask you, "What do you do?" I'm a mascot.
Usually they would know before the first
Okay.
date, but
Okay.
yeah, I was single a lot in my 20s. I don't know.
That was just a funny question I wanted to know.
Yeah. No, it would come up eventually. There's no way to really hide it.
And also, could you just talk about your career after, mascotting and, you were also a comedian and still are.
Yeah.
Could you just talk about that and, what do you, we know about To the Top and
Yeah.
a lot of the viewers know about To the Top, but could you talk about your comedy career? Did that come, behind the mascot, or was that something that you were, used to telling jokes all the time?
That's something I always wanted to do, and there was nowhere to do. So I moved back to Hattiesburg 2007. Needed a creative outlet, and I did. Rock 104 had an open mic comedy contest. I went and did it. It was horrible. It was brutal, but I met another guy, and we started Hub City Comedy. So we've been doing comedy shows here in Hattiesburg now for 12 years. We just announced our Laughs for Life this year, which is our big charity event. Takes place at the Sanger. Leanne Morgan's going to be there. A guy named Keith Alberstadt who's been on Letterman. But have you guys seen SNL lately?
Yeah, I've seen some of their skits online.